Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxchair, on the show this evening as a couple of gentlemen, the one and only Southside and our Jim. How we doing, boys?
Aye, good Ox. Good to be on the night with Jim and your good self. I'll give a shout out to the troops on the YouTube channel. There's a few of them in there tonight going to listen to the show, so I'll say hello to them and everybody else listening in this evening.
All right. Evening, Jim.
Evening, lads. For a long time since I've been on. Feels like it anyway.
Aye, never a dull moment with our club, Jim, eh?
You're right, there's no. But it's just good to get a win yesterday.
Aye. Listen, in a normal season, a 4-0 victory or taking 7 goals off Aberdeen at home without reply, you'd be quite pleased with that in the circumstances. We're under-egging the pudding, Southside. I thought we were control a vast majority of the game, 78%. First half we weren't great. We had a couple of opportunities. Second half we played well, mate.
Aye. In the context of things, if it was meaning something, you'd be happy with a 4-0. You might have just took the first half for performance. It's not been great, but went on and done well in the second half, which we did. But aye, you could. It wasn't a great crowd atmosphere in that on Saturday. Felt a wee bit flat, and the players sort of didn't really spark the energy in the first half. They sort of gave much to look forward to be honest. It was pretty drab the first half, although we could have been probably 2-0 up without question. For CD9, some glaring miss, mate, as you've seen.
The header, and obviously, Jim, you're a referee. I mean, he's standing offside with a goal. I thought it was offside right away. And the goal was given. I think, there could be somebody at the back that you've missed. I mean, you watch it, he's actually standing offside. With VAR, Jim, I know you don't referee with VAR. Maybe you could do it. Maybe we could come and video it so you can watch yourself back. That'd be worth a look. Anyway, with VAR, mate, you've got to play the game differently. You can't be standing offside. It's just going to get chopped off, innit?
Aye. But unfortunately, it seems to be a regular occurrence with the big man getting caught offside. Is it laziness? Just game awareness. It's mental. The amount of times it's kind of similar to the goal that we scored against him at Ibrox. Great move, but again, standing out. He was offside a mile, wasn't he?
I thought so, and if I'm honest, I said it yesterday. What was more shocking is the referee and the linesman gave the goals outside, and you would have had a perfect view, mate.
Aye, he was off. The linesman should have seen it, to be perfectly honest. I don't know why he didn't notice it. Because you could clearly see when the ball came to him as it was travelling, you could see he was offside. And then Jim's right, similar sort of goal to what we scored against them at Ibrox, the way he came across and cut it back across the goalkeeper. But probably sleeping a bit. If he just came up level with the players, it would have worked. But he was sort of maybe daydreaming a wee bit. Maybe he didn't expect to pass at that time or where he was to come in that quick to him, or maybe be dummied to him. He maybe thought it'd be another phase of play first before he has to get himself into a position. But he was offside, and I'm surprised, as I said, the linesman didn't spy it straight away.
Maybe he was just tired, Jim.
Doing the game awareness, isn't it? Yeah. But as you're saying there about the officials not seeing it, this seems to be the norm just now, doesn't it? That let the game run through and let VAR decide the outcome.
Aye, I get it. With things are borderline and I understand it. Sometimes you can argue that the linesman, with the passing the ball and trying to do 2 things at one in that split second, it's difficult, Jim. I don't know you've done it. It's difficult. Unless you've done it, people think it's easy. It's no, you can't watch the guy kicking the ball and the guy running at the same time. It's impossible. So you've got your technique for doing it. So the 50-50s, the 90-10s, the close ones, the ones on the line, but that wasn't. It was offside, and well, put it this way, they missed it. So I'm querying Desser's thinking there, because all he's done is he's wasted a goal opportunity. And I'll say it, I think he was lazy, Jim. That's what I think it was.
Aye, very lazy. This seems to be an anomaly. How many goals would he have scored in a season with the chances that he's missed? Absolute sitters.
Aye, listen, I don't put that down as a sitter, because obviously he's got the ball and he's put it away, but so he said it's an opportunity because he's not got himself back on side.
Aye. Listen, see when we say about the ones he misses, I'll say something, right? How many goals do you think he would have this season if he took most of the chances that we all think he should score? What would you think he should be sitting at in league goals? Just quickly.
I think he should have possibly another 10, mate.
So you've got one, 24, 25 for the season, is that be right, in league goals?
League goals, aye. I think another 10. You're not going to score every chance, except
no. Listen, we've not had a 25-goal league goal striker for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Aye,
you know. So as much as we say he should do this and he should do that, I think you need to get back to Kenny Miller or Chris Boyd. Half a tap in my head to see a striker that scored 20 league goals, 25, or 20 league goals in a Rangers jersey. So he scored a good goal later on, and he missed two glaring. I think the second one, I don't know what he was doing on the goal line. I think it came off him. He sort of cleared it. I don't know what he done. It was that quick when it came in. I just expected him to make contact and put it in the net for about a yard out, Ox, if you remember that one.
Well, we never seen that again on the TV, mate. And the TV telly, you weren't sure if it was a save by the goalie, but I never seen it at half time or after the game. I was having a refreshment at half time, and I was doing the show after the game, so they might have showed you it then, but I never caught it, mate. But initially, I wasn't sure if it was a miss or the goalie had saved it. I knew he was right in there. If he's cleared it, it's a brilliant bit of defending, mate.
It looked like I've only seen it the once, but it looks like it catches him. I don't know if he's unaware of it, but if he probably turns his body the other way, he's scoring. But it seems to hit him and come out, and obviously the header, which was poor.
Aye, the header, aye. Listen, to be fair, I mean, he keeps going, a big man, and he gets his goals, Jim. He is the biggest enigma we had. I don't know. He wasn't involved. Sometimes his play frustrates him. By the way, yesterday I was not winning the game at half time. Wasn't doing to him. The whole team was collectively slow. I thought Barron was arguably the best player in the first half, but Raskin was the best player more than 90 minutes by a distance, Jim.
Aye, yeah, you're right there. But again, it proves regarding the Dessers one. I don't think we can afford to get rid of him until we replace him with somebody that's going to score the amount of goals that he's actually scoring. And on the Conor Barron thing, I think the wee man's in the last couple of games, he's actually stepped up, because for me, over the period of the season, he's been a major disappointment. And bringing the other wee boy in for Dundee has been a bit of a worry because of the frailness of the two. I think I mentioned about the wee boy the other week, but that young boy scored a couple at the weekend there again as well.
Well, he's doing it in the league, Lyle Cameron, so we'll see. We'll see where it takes us when he joins us, mate. But some people will thrive, you know. I get the physicality thing. I mean, when you watch that Crystal Palace team playing Man United yesterday, the size of some of their players, the game's changed, but if you're good enough, you'll be able to play. Doesn't matter what size you are, you know, but we'll see where that takes us as we build our new team, Jim, you know. But I thought Barron done okay in the first half. I thought we were outstanding. I thought we were a better team in the first half, just. But the second half, after we got the goal, Southside, we played some decent stuff. And there were some good goals, mate. Southside. Oh, and you come, Jim?
I'll take on that one there. we're a totally different team when we pick the pace of the game up, would we? And I'm hanging on to the hope that if we get a half decent kind of manager in, bring in, I think maybe 3, 4, 5 half decent players. I don't think we'll be far off them, because I think when we pick the pace up, we're a totally different team. And again, yesterday proved it again. In the second half, when the pace gets picked up, Rangers are a totally different outfit.
Aye. We tweaked the system, mate, and Tierney sort of played inside. The first goal was a nice ball by Raskin. Nice ball and a decent finish, mate. And one of the ones that ends up going through the goalie's legs. That's a bit of luck when you're in the right position. The second goal by Dessers, I think it was, I'm trying to remember who it was that played the ball down to Raskin. It may have been Eggman. I forgot yesterday and I forgot today, but somebody played the ball down to Raskin, down in the 18-yard box. He dummied the guy, brought it inside, and then put the ball into Dessers, who couldn't miss. Another good goal, Jim.
Aye, yeah, it was, aye, as I'm saying. I think all the goals that we scored yesterday were top dollar. Could have been a few more, but by God, they're a bad outfit, aren't they?
Well, in that performance yesterday, aye, without a doubt. Southside, and then the third goal, arguably the highlight of the game, mate. I'll let you describe it. I don't really want it because it's the way I used to score them, but the third goal, what a goal.
It was instinctive, wasn't it? I mean, the Aberdeen player, he kicked it out, okay. Didn't just sort of chip it out. It was a bit of pace on it. It was the way he just sort of controlled it and it flicked up for him. It's like something you'd watch in the playground or something at school, or something you would watch up the park with your pals. It was as if he just, one of the flicks and then just hit it right into the bottom corner. Listen, if I'd maybe get beat for the Butland behind me, you might think, but he hit a sweet strike and it was in the corner. I don't think the goalkeeper was really expecting him to do it, but it was some piece of skill. It just sort of looked natural to him, didn't it? You know, effortlessly. He just sort of pinged the ball up with the control, next minute he just volleyed it, you know. It was a special bit of skill, Locks.
Aye. A question for you, Jim. Is there another player on that pitch that you could do that?
Nah, not to the wee man's levels, but I'm kind of picking up on the management team's reaction to the boy, as if there's something going on. They're moaning at him, i.e. Ferguson, and McCann had a nibble at him and all. And the boy turned round as if to say, man, what do you want me to do here?
He went to Danilo and he went to the coach. There wasn't a lot to the coaching staff. Is that the point, mate?
Aye, I think I thought he was having a wee go at him. The two of them had a go at him yesterday again. Again, I don't know what they were wanting more after the boy.
He misplaced the pass when we broke away, when the move that he actually scored the goal, mate. Yeah, and then he does that, and he's an enigma one way, and a different kettle of fish for Dessers, mate. But the boy's got talent, mate, and he's raw, you know, and he needs to play. For me, he has to play up top, Southside.
It looks like it. That he has to be the number 9. What's he got? Has he got about, I don't know, I think he's got about 15 goals, maybe 14, 15 in his first season, I think, in all competitions for us. And we've played him out of position in the last while to get him into the team. Still think players try and adapt, but I get it's his first full season and he seems to be wanting to play the number 9 role. And for where he was standing when the ball comes out to do that bit of skill, you can see he's got talent. He is technically gifted, even if he flicker the defender's head in the box. He's got to be tricks and the flicks, but he still has to knuckle down and he still has to apply himself and try and get on the score sheet and in the positions as much as possible. As much as Dessers misses a lot and stuff, he doesn't get into the positions, but Dessers certainly wouldn't do what he done at the edge of the box and finished like that.
Well, he might have done, mate, with the volley, but I don't know if he'd have had the touch, mate.
Aye. Listen, in fairness to the big man on yesterday, I thought he worked well. I thought he worked really hard. He put a shift in. He ran about. I think his touch wasn't bad yesterday. He actually went down the left wing. He finished out wide left.
Put a cross in.
He put a great cross in. Something that you have to be struggling with yesterday at times. He whipped his left foot just right in the box. But he worked hard yesterday, Dessers. I'll give him that. I thought he put a shift in. And he thought he might have nicked another goal or two, which he should have, and probably had bagged himself a hat-trick yesterday. But for Ignaman, he's played out of position now slightly, and I don't think he's too keen on it. But at the end of the day, also, if he's picked to play slightly left out in the Moroccan team, because they've got established strikers at the moment playing the number 9, so he would probably go there and do it. So he has to adapt at times. But genuinely, I think if he gets a run in the team going forward as a number 9, then I would expect him to score goals, but he needs to learn to go and pick pockets of positions, because he can't always just play the ball to him and if he's back to goal, or he might think he can just face a defender all the time. He needs to learn to make runs round about the edge of the box as well and be available.
Aye. By the way, I don't know if the goal was his best bit of skill, Jim. When he flicked to the defenders, he did it in the touchline. The penalty box in the touchline, mate. Sublime, mate. Sublime.
That's full, isn't it? Aye, he's good at the wee moves into nutmegs and all the flicks and all the rest of it.
You know, so I've got an asset with on, but I take your point. Well, watch your space in that one, you know. I'm assuming he's went to the guys that's maybe giving him encouragement, Danilo, and the coach who's Moroccans, maybe close to them. Yeah, you know, but I don't know, mate. I don't want to read too much into it before, because it's going to end quite quickly. This new relationship with the management team and the players, that's what it looks like anyway. So we then gets a fourth goal, and Jeffrey claimed it. I don't think it was going in for Cherny, and Jeffrey's running on, and it comes off his saw. He's hit, if I'm honest, and ends up in the net 4-0. And I'm with you, Jim. I thought the 4-0 flattered Aberdeen at the finish. I thought they were very poor. As much as we played well in the second half, yeah, they were all over the place chasing shadows, nice shape. Yeah.
Many points have we dropped to that garbage this season?
We've dropped 5 points, mate.
Again, I know we had this discussion earlier on, a couple of weeks back, about these daft points that we put up to these teams. We'd be a hell of a lot closer to them. Aye, disgraceful. And probably for me, with the worst one was up at Pittodrie, that one that they scored late on. And it was like a game of two halves. We pummeled them in the second half, and they got that goal late on, remember?
Aye, Tavernier and Butland again.
Aye,
you know. And that makes it different. We would have took 8 after them. But, well, you know, we would have still dropped 4 points to them, mate. Obviously, the second game was different, mate, because we played there was 8 changes at the weekend, Southside, you know, so the second game at Pittodrie, it was a moral victory in some respects because of how it came about. However, good point, Jim's, mate. How can you drop points to that team, eh?
Well, they only try harder against us than anybody else, didn't they? I mean, they don't hide the fact. They think this is a derby when they play us, you know. But, aye, it's Achilles' heel all season. St Mirren taking points off us, plenty off us, a lot more than they should have. Motherwell, Aberdeen, Hibs, when they were actually cruising it. Easter Road 2-0 up after half an hour, played really good football, and then you see the penalty, as Willie Colm explained, is subjective to a referee. He could have no gave it or gave it. He thought it was a penalty, so that's how you're going with VAR. So, and we dropped points there as well, and dropping points at St Mirren and stuff like that, Motherwell. So it's not been good enough, and to be honest, from the start to finish, the performances, for some reason, we've not been able to put in 90-minute performances in a lot of games at all.
Consistently, you're
consistently,
right
aye. But if either had a good first half and a bad second half, or it's a bad first half and a better second half, should I say? And it's been a bit like that. There's not been many complete games, and probably more in Europe. We've done well over a period of time in games than we have in the league. For some reason, we've had bad starts in games and stuff. But a lot of it's been around making as well, defending, goalkeeping, and allowing crosses to come into our box, no shutting players down, and not working hard enough. So it was all there. And it's all down to the players going the bar, carry the can.
We had it yesterday. Again, you'd have got a cracking view of both, mate. Barron's mistake and Tab's mistake could have caused 2 goals, mate.
Aye, I know. Tab, I don't know what he was thinking about. You know, he was trying to play the body, but it was bizarre. Aye, it's just individual lacks of comfort, just lack of concentration, and not doing the basics. I mean, you're not doing the basics properly in any type of positions. You could lead to conceding a goal. But fortunate for us, Kelly had a few good saves yesterday, and when he was asked to, he had 2 or 3. But I think that was about the only time Aberdeen really hit the target. You know, he had 2 or 3 comfortable saves, and that was it, really, isn't it?
Right, man of the match. I've gave mine. I've said it. Player of the season, man of the match. Potentially Captain Marvel going forward. I thought he had an excellent game again. People are starting to talk about him regular. For me, Nickel Raskin, you might see it different. Southside.
Really who the sponsors want to see in it at the end of the game, usually. They pick man of the match. I thought Raskin, obviously sets up a goal and he had a good performance. I thought Connor Barron, if I was tipping it slightly, just because somebody's come in for the cold and we've all criticised him lately and that, and I think probably yesterday was probably his best game for a while. Not being fancy or anything like that, but just doing the basics right, winning the ball, doing simple things, some nice passing. So if it wasn't Nico Raskin, he would have been the one that I would have gave it to Ops.
I thought he was.
I thought he was good for the whole time. You know, he done well. He done a job. It was a wee bit mix and match at times in the midfield. I expected well, Raskin obviously comes in and, like you say, most people are saying he was probably the standout. I thought Connor Barron was really close behind him. I thought Diamondi again, for me, because I like him, and I think in Europe he's been really good. But again, yesterday, a couple of nice things he done, but loads of energy running about the park at times, not being industrious. And the one bugbearer yesterday where I sit, see Jeff to get down the line, we put a cross in, and all we've got is Dessers in the box, right? And then I look across, and all I see is Barron, Diamondi and Raskin, 20 to 25 yards just outside the box. Not one of them decided that I'll go and make a run into that area. How no? They're midfielders. The 3 of them are standing outside the box. We've got 1 striker in there. And Tierney thinks roughly maybe just come in the mid, maybe just inside the box at the far side. But that's where we're putting the ball into. Like, what is happening here? You know, so there's a lot of changes, and we need a style of play. We need to make sure players that are standing 20 to 25 yards outside that penalty box aren't busting a gut to get in there and try and get on or something. Make a run across the front post, take away a defender. We're crossing it into Dessers, who is surrounded by centre-backs.
Yeah.
I just don't get it at times, Ox. No.
Take Raskin, who we know can score a goal now. Take if he gets 8 a season and Barron chips in with 6. So we're not being outlandish there, Jim. Taking Southside point, maybe 4 and 6, all of a sudden you get 10 goals for any 2. That changes how you think about them, particularly if they're big goals, Jim.
Aye, it does, and it's. I know we don't like Canaan going across the city, but they've got, when they're in their positions, they're flooding that box, or they're flooding the edge of the box. It's just that they're saying how bad Aberdeen are. You're saying there, Southside, that there was a line of 3 away back there. Why are they 3 sitting away back there when you've got the quality of Aberdeen? And they probably had God knows how many men in their books try to defend it. Why are we not getting guys papering? Is it coming for the management or is it coming for the players? Again, I heard Tim coming away with a comment, they done what I told them. It's a few times he's out with that, innit? They're not doing what they're telling them.
Well, we might have done what they told them second half, mate, but I thought the shape was poor in the first half, and I didn't like when Raskin was playing. You know, I thought he was playing more the left. I think at times we were playing a 4-3-3, and it was we were losing our best midfielder, not playing in the mid. My opinion. You know, I know that they changed the shape slightly, that's what I've seen. But I'll tell you what we'll do, mate, if it's all right for you. We'll maybe hear from Barry Ferguson. There was a presser today, and what we're also going to do is, look, we're on Teams. Anybody that wants to join us, contact RangersRadio on Teams, and then we can bring you into the call. Or the boys are working away in the background, dealing with the people. You get the phone lines open soon. But if you want to join us, you still come in and speak to Southside. You can maybe discuss the Super Six, how that went at the weekend. You can discuss any. Jim will take any DIY problems you've got, and also Southside will take a fair of the Hearts. He's very good at that. You might come in and talk to us. Right, let's hear from Barry Ferguson.
Barry, what were your thoughts on that from your team today?
Thoroughly deserved 3 points. First half, I wasn't too happy. I thought we were a bit pedestrian on the ball. Aberdeen never threatened us, so yeah, I was a bit frustrated. Half time I made a change. I wanted a few more runners for midfield to give Aberdeen some problems, and then when we done that, we caused them all sorts of problems, and I thought in the end we ran over the top of Aberdeen. Just disappointed it was only 4. I thought it could have been more, but look, it's been far too long, 7 games without a win. Just happy to get that victory finally.
What did it mean to you to get that win out there at Ibrox in front of all the fans?
Yeah, I'm happy. Of course I'm happy. The players are happy, and hopefully the supporters are happy with the second half performance.
Did you see in that second half, Barry, what this team can be like when it sort of clicks almost? Yeah,
and I see when they listen as well, they can be a good team. As I said, I came back to the game last Sunday. Their commitment and attitude's always been really good for me. I can never label that against them. It's just the quality at times. So we worked really hard during the week on things that we can get better at, and it was just nice to see things happen when you work with things on the training ground. But I had to remember them at half time. We need to be better, guys. We need to threaten Aberdeen. And once we got that first goal, I felt there was a calmness about us, and we started to play the way that I know the boys can.
When you see your team run over the top of Aberdeen, as you said there, does it almost give you a bit of frustration of what could have came before if they reached those heights? And
yeah, look, I tend to know, look, in the past, look, it's not been good enough this season. It's been way off it. I've come in and I've tried to change it. One thing about I've changed is the attitude of the players. Been really good. There's been a few bumps, as I've always said. There's certainly a lot of good players in there. They just need to make sure we finish the season strongly, and then we'll take it from there, whatever happens.
Barry, that's 10 assists for Nico Raskin this year, 6 of them since you came in. Has that been a conscious effort from you to get him further forward, or is he just really enjoying his football just now?
No, I think Nico will tell you he wants to be a number 6. I think he can be a number 6, but also I think he needs to add different attributes to his game. I think he can play further forward, and it's good to have that flexibility. We've had a few arguments, should we say, but I don't mind that. He's a good boy. He's got really good ability. There's no doubt, and I think he's certainly for the turn of the year. His levels of performance have been up there.
A few arguments, Barry, this year about yourself.
Yeah, too much of myself. That's why I argue with him. But he's got an opinion. I don't mind people with opinions. I just think if he works on things that we speak about, he's got a real chance of playing at the top.
Is he somebody that the team should be looking to build?
I didn't hear you there.
Is he a player that they should look to build the team around next season?
I'm not going to get into that, Andy. It's just I don't know his contract situation. No, I'm just going to enjoy the last couple of games managing and coaching Nico.
Barry, are you surprised by how Aberdeen approached that? As you say, they didn't really touch Rangers at all over that whole 90 minutes. Are you expecting more from them?
No, they came to frustrate us. That's what I felt. They had a lot of men behind the ball. I kind of thought that would be the way they would approach it. But obviously they're still going for third place. I did mention that. They've still got a cup final to play. But I thought in the first half they were there for the taking. That's the thing. It frustrated me a wee bit. But listen, we took things on board that I spoke about at half time. And I thought, honestly, we ran over the top of them in the second half.
You made a change at half time, Barry. Do you expect more from Bajrami? You looked quite frustrated with what you're getting from him first half. I
expect more from everybody because I'm demanding, and they might look at me and they might say, "Oh, there he goes again." But that's just the type of person I am. I'll try and get everything I can out of players. Some players might not like it, some will like it, but I'm not going to stand there. I know they're at a brilliant football club, and I'm going to make sure I try and get every single ounce I can possible out of every single player. And it's not just about Nadeem. Nadeem's got really good qualities. He just found it tough today. And again, it's one of the ones you have to make decisions. And I made a decision. And I thought, not just Hamza, I thought the other boys that come on have gave me a problem. I want to have a problem. I've not had a problem for a long time, so I've got a problem now. Starting 11. I'm going to have to pick against Dundee United on Wednesday night.
Barry, last two guys. Barry, what's the situation? What's the Cortez? Is it a fitness thing? Is it
I've told you, asked me the question a couple of weeks ago about Oscar and about Danny. I look at people on the train and I have to make decisions. So, will Oscar get an opportunity before the end of the season? Maybe. Danny has had an opportunity. That's more like Danny when I seen him coming on. But it's not just about Danny and Oscar, but everybody keeps asking me about. There's a lot of players that are not getting much game time, but you need to earn your right to play. You just don't play for the sake of playing. You have to earn the right to be certainly on my team.
Barry, can I just ask you about Bailey Rice?
Yes.
When he came on, he was effortless, looked really classy on the ball. In terms of Rangers maybe progressing forward in years to come, wanting that number 6 that was spoken about quite a lot at the start of the season, where do you see him? Because you did say he was behind his development.
Yes.
Have you seen him taking strides, and do you think that he can be the player that you think he can be?
Yes, I think he can be a number 6 for Rangers. Again, I get asked quite a lot why you're not playing him. I don't think he's ready to play every single game. Now Bailey will say otherwise, which I have no problem with. But he's got all the attributes that's needed for me to play in that position. He has to work on things. And one thing I will say about Bailey, and Connor's the same, Nico's the same, Dio's the same. They really tune in and listen and understand they need to get better at certain things. So this next 5 days I'll continue to work with Bailey, and hopefully in the future we'll see Bailey be a Rangers number 6, because he certainly has the ability to do that.
Just how far away is he from being that player that can start then every week?
Bailey? Yeah, he just needs a bit of work, so that would be a pre-season. He should, in my opinion, have been playing more regular before I came. But as I said, I think he's behind development and he needs to work on things, and certainly it's something that we've been speaking about, we've been working on, and he's been tuning in, and that's all you can ask from a young player who everybody knows, I think, highly of him.
Well, thanks for that, Fox. Old School Blue. Sorry if you picked up some interference or break in the interview at the start. Something with our control, but obviously get better, so we just left it running. Thanks for that, Fox and Old School Blue. Some interesting stuff in there, I think. By the way, as far as the game's concerned, I think he saw pretty similar to what we discussed. I think all the talking points have come out with the interview about the guys that Snow played Southside.
Aye, sometimes they ask him about the squad and the players, and then you maybe get an answer from him. Don't see what Cortez and what Danilo's doing in training that that they can force their way into the team. So he obviously sees something, and he said he was more happy with Danilo when he gave his chance. So I'd like to think we'd see the two of them. I think Danilo had a couple of nice wee touches and links in the play, but never seen enough time in him really to get totally involved in the game. And it's maybe Wednesday night might be a chance where you might see one out of the two. But I would like to see the two of them. At the end of the day, they're our players, they're no loan players. And if you can give him a game now that he's managed to get his win at Ibrox, and that saves him going away no winning a game at Ibrox, maybe now let's see them either this Wednesday or Saturday and get a bit of game time. Otherwise they're just going to be judged the way they've been judged so far. I think Oxshire might be on mute. I think that's where he is.
I see on regarding the Cortez one, it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? It seems to be a wee bit of a bugbear than well, he was talking here. I'd like to see the Danilo and the Humza, given maybe the last couple of games up front. I'd like to see that partnership try to develop again. We spoke earlier on there about the daft results that we dropped this season. I think probably the worst frustrating one for me was the day Easter Road, where I thought we were fantastic, and it ended up, was it 3 weeks or something? I thought Rangers in that opening period, man, I thought some of the football we played was sensational, and man got his hat-trick that day and probably should have won it with that one he went right through on the end of the game. That to me of the season's been probably the game at 6 weeks to me where I thought Rangers were pretty special.
I had a piece, but then defensively we were poor, but there was circumstances for that, injuries, changes, new defence. But we should have put the game to bed, and Diomande gave a foul that caused the first goal cheaply, and then I'm sure if we don't get that away, we see the game out. I don't see them coming back. The goal gave them a lift, and we just need to be smarter. I take your point, Jim. But it was 2-0. You were saying this is exquisite because it was in back here. That 20 30 minutes, Southside was in the back of a 3-0 victory against that mob.
Aye. It's the end of the season. You think we can get some players into the team and give them a game now. We want to see Bailey Rice come into the team and get a big game. He is a totally different player for what Raskin is. In the same way, I'd like to see Cortez get a game. I think Tierney's done his time into his. You could probably give him a rest or play with a left winger and give Cortez a run there. And then hopefully even try and give Finlay Curtis a run as well, Ops, and just give them a game. But there only has 2 games left, and he'll want to go out winning the 2 games, and he might not want to be so gung-ho at that. I think he might keep the squad similar to what he played yesterday. He might not make too many changes on Wednesday, but you just want somebody else.
But Jamie will not start on Wednesday.
Well, see at first, he wasn't in the game a lot, but I thought that tackle wasn't great on him, and I thought when he didn't come back out, that was the reason why.
He was limping. He was limping in the dugout. You wouldn't have seen it. Oh, we've got the guy. We've got Dermot Jim on, haven't we?
Ref watch now.
We can
there's no crime watch.
No, that's Wednesday night. Crime watch is Wednesday night. Right.
I thought the Aberdeen player was very fortunate. I think he just kind of caught his soak. I think if it was anything else, I think he could have walked. But I thought the Aberdeen player got lucky.
With his leg being that high, mate, it's potentially red. It could have went either way for me, yeah.
Aye, same here. I thought it was one of the borderline ones. Mm-hmm. See on the Cortez situation, do you think we're playing a game here? IE and try to kind of get this price brought down with IE no playing them and try to kind of force a weekend issue here. That's the kind of thing I'm thinking.
I don't know if the devil's in the detail, mate. I don't know if he's automatically a player. I said it yesterday with Tillman. Look what happened with that. You know, the NH thought that was in the contracts outside, did we?
No. It's always in the detail, isn't it? That we don't get to see with the loan deals. Because I think did they sell him for about 15 million or something in the end up? Something like that? Or have they got a buy? They've got a clause in it, isn't it? When they sold him, that they can buy him back for X amount or something, I believe as well. So I heard. But the Tillman deal, Sima deal, and who was the other one that we had that I think he's playing in Spain, that Silva or something, wasn't it? Fabio Silva. When you look at the three of them we had, Hadji obviously, we had him in loan and all, and we had Kent in loan for a bit, so some of them we've worked out that we went for. And I think for probably Fabio Silva's the only one that was really disappointing. Tillman was pretty good, and Sima was good for as well he played.
Aye. Out of them all, who would you take? If you could take one of them, the loan players.
And Cherny, obviously. Fling him in, although we'd probably no buy him. I liked Sima. I did like Sima. I think he was versatile. I think he had a good role playing on the left. Although we all agree that he probably could have played through the middle, but he scored goals and he created for the left, and he put in a good shift. He worked a shift, aye. He worked a shift. So from that point of view, you can't criticise him, you know. He worked hard and he contributed Oxwell. He was here on loan.
If we take these, if we look at the players, obviously we had Fabio last year, who didn't work out. I think he wasn't cut out, but he's moved on. If I take Tillman, Cherny and Sima, football-wise, ability-wise, arguably, you know, what Cherny can do, and obviously Big Tillman was a smashing football player, but with the three of them, I would take Sima. With that attitude, his work rate, his endeavour, scored goals, and was improving, and then it was just doing luck at a crucial part of the season when we needed him, Jim. He got injured, and that could have been different. He could have been a difference maker, couldn't he?
Aye, could have been, aye. I've seen on a lot of forums that people are still have the hope that we bring him back and all that. And I don't know if that ship sailed with a big man. As if he would want to come back here and play here again. I don't know.
You never know, mate. You never know, and obviously, you know, we're always looking back, mate. Sometimes it never happens. You know, there's players we've been signing for 10 years, mate. You know, I seen his linked with Big Katic today because 2-2. He's had a free. He's finished with Plymouth, and everybody's saying, well, not everybody. Some people are saying we should sign him. We're always going to do that. So it's a trait we've got in it.
Aye, he's probably fondly remembered because he was done pretty well here, and he was good in the air and stuff, and he always spoke well about the club. Whether we go back down that road, I don't know. It'll depend on the new manager, and that will determine who we go for in signings. Don't think he's at that age. What is he now? 29 or something? Would he be about 29?
I forget, mate. It was 7 years ago he came into us.
And he was young then, when he was 21, 22 maybe, I can't remember. But he was good in the air, he was dominant, but something that we've missed in our defence. He was a good header of the ball in both boxes. Wasn't very clever sometimes with his passing, but I thought we could have worked on that. But for one reason or another, we got rid of him. And
he always played the left, mate.
Aye, that's the thing as well. That's the thing. We sometimes sacrifice the players. It happened to John Suter because Connor Golson, the whole time he was at the club, never moved away from the right-hand side of his defence. And he was always ever present, to be honest. But anybody else that was going into the team had to play left, i.e. Balogun and Suter as two. Unless you get a left-sided player, then that's fair enough. But you never ever seen Connor Golson move out position, did you, ever? I
think once at Motherwell, mate, we went to play with a 3 and he moved and it was a disaster under Stevie G, mate. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
We lost the goal, we lost an equaliser we turned it round and lost a goal on the last kick of the ball. I think that was that game. Might be wrong. I think it was. We brought on Lee Wallace at the corner kick and lost a goal.
We did that. We did bring him on just as the corner kick and gave, aye.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that was the same game. Aye, listen, just quickly, who would you have the Cherny Seamer Tillman, mate, if you had your pick, mate?
Me?
Aye.
One of the three of them.
Aye, no, that bit.
What a difference that would make to our team, wouldn't it?
You're always greedy.
You might as well.
You're back dancing, you're always greedy.
One. Probably Seema because he's more versatile. And he was scoring. I mean, Tierney scored quite a few goals for us in his loan spell. He's got a pretty good record considering. But I would probably go with Seema.
Jim?
Seema, I know. Probably Higby, but again, this is really up to me. We're always wanting to go back and look at players we've had before instead of moving on. He's something fresh. He's a new impetus. As you said there, talking about bringing back Nito Katic. Katic wasn't good enough when he got away the last time. So what makes him good enough now when he's aged?
You become a better player. You become a better player when you're not on the team, Jim, than you are when you're in it.
Yeah, well, aye. I just hope we move on for this. Again, I'm the same way with the manager. I know who we're all kind of people are saying that it's a good bit down the road. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want him back again here.
I only want somebody who's going to win, mate. Who that is, I don't know, mate. I see some clickbait stories today who have been linked with, but I mean, when I seen it, I nearly fell off my chair. Ancelotti, but it turned out not to be the man I thought it was going to be.
I just want somebody that's won a lottery, never mind Ancelotti.
Aye. I know. His boy gets raved about, didn't he? More than I think. I wouldn't fancy him when he's leaving. I wouldn't. I don't think he would do it. We need somebody that understands what we need, and to sort of get through this. It's a two-team league, let's be honest, but you've got to contribute to beating everybody else that we've dropped points off. But I just thought we'd have to get somebody that gets a bit of the league and all. Somebody that plays forward football, and they've got a style, and that's the way they play, and that's the way we'll play, and it's got to be good enough. It can't be. We need to be another 18 months down the line, and then we maybe see improvement. We really need it to be starting for the off. Unfortunately, that's the pressure that we'll be put under, because we've had enough waiting time, and we've waited and waited and waited. So we've really got to kick on, and they've got to get it right. And for me, all my eggs would be in the basket of making sure we win domestic cups in Scotland this year. Europe can be gravy for me. If we stagger through the qualifiers or we don't get there and we end up in one of the Europa League placings, fine. But still the league, every week we need to be on it for the league. I think that should be drummed in to the players that come in, and the manager that should be his expectation. Silverware in Scotland, the league's a priority, and then you try and get yourself the cups. And Europe will be Europe, but I just think we should make sure that we're putting our efforts into Scotland this year.
Yeah, some of that chat's been on the Bridge Zone. I believe that's one of their fanzines. The club that they follow. But listen, clickbait, rumours, speculation, you can't stop it, mate. It's good talking points. Like players, Jim, I'm a great believer. There's no point in getting too excited or think what something's going to happen till you see them standing there. Manager with a suit on, with a scarf above their head, and players with a jersey on, with a scarf above their head, you know?
Aye, you're right. But maybe the good thing is nobody seems to know anything, and that to me is a good thing. I mean, they're flinging names about left, right, and centre, i.e. for players, for managers. I don't think nobody knows. But we can just make a King's comments that possibly going to be June for this takeover. Do you think this hampers a manager, or do you think they're well down the road regarding that?
Well, the takeover and lawyers will take what it takes, mate. You know, I've no control on that. And I don't think the manager's coming in to the day they have rubber stamped. I think that I'd like to think, I don't know what you think, Southside, that they're so far down the road with plans, so it shouldn't hamper us because that's really about the time we come back. I see that people online are saying we've cancelled a game to Australia that we were meant to go on at the end of the season. First I'd heard it. Don't know if you picked it up, Southside, and maybe you were trying to get flights.
No, I hadn't heard anything at all about it.
Pun intended, it came out the blue, didn't it?
Aye, never even heard anything like that for a pre-season in Australia or a game at all.
A post-season, mate.
Oh, post-season? No. No, I just think, well, the deal's the deal, and everything's seemingly been agreed in principle. They've got the amount of shares that they need agreed by all the directors, so there's obviously all that's been finalised. Everything's there, it's just about dotting a couple of things. It might be the hardest part, getting the last, as Dave King said, roughly 90% of it done. Maybe the last 10% is the issue, but I think that should just be the formality stage if it was, I'm thinking along the lines. I don't think we'll wait, Jim, to the middle of June. If the deal's no done, I still think we'll appoint a manager before then. I think we have to. And if they know there isn't going to be an issue, it's just a case of getting things maybe done by maybe the SFA stuff, and that's already been done and already been done and all that. I don't know, but for whatever bit's left, if they're all confident that there'll not be any issues, then I think we have to appoint a manager. And the amount of rumours that's kicking about and what you're reading, then you'd expect it to be by the end of the week, once the last game's done. You'd think you'd be hearing something a matter of days after that, I would think. As long as they believe everyone at their end will tie up, which I'd imagine it will. So it'll be what it'll be, Jim, but I think we'll have a manager before they tell us that the deal's done. I would like to think that will happen. That'll be down to Thelwell and the rest of them to appoint.
But maybe the managers...
Maybe copy.
Maybe the managers want to wait, Jim, to see if the deal's done before he signs in the dotted line.
Aye. See how much money he's getting.
Maybe you might be right, mate. Maybe a true word said in jest, mate, if you're honest, yeah?
Aye, 100%. It's going to be interesting.
Well,
aye.
Sorry, I thought you said me there, sorry. On you go, Jim.
No, I thought it was you talked to there, sorry.
No, you were going to ask something about copying.
No, do you think he's going to hang about?
Watch your space, mate. Listen, I'm a great believer when regime change, to coin a better phrase, and new people come in. Usually they want their own people run about them. It's what happens a lot of times in business, it happens in life, and it happens more times than not in football clubs, mate. You know, bizarrely. And then that's where you don't get the continuity. That's part of the problem, Southside, isn't it?
Aye, I don't know. You would expect him possibly, Jim, to move on. Don't know if he'll move on in the summer. I mean, they might try and work together. He might have a decent portfolio. He might be saying, well, the budget's up for spending. He might have people there that he can say, well, I've got this list here, these players that are all hang me, and he might be ahead of the game, because I would dare say he would have to have been getting recruitment for this year, regardless, even if the time Clement was there. Something that you should be looking at and aware of players' contracts and all that for going forward, to who maybe our targets have been. We might have had a target or two in the past and we couldn't get him at that time. Maybe now he's coming down to the end of his contract, he's still been doing well, and we might be able to go in and get him if that's what we think is the right player for the club, depending on what way we're going to be going with our philosophy and what we're going to be buying type of players. But I think he's got a role at the moment, but usually our time, I think he'll probably move on and they'll bring in their own person. But it'll be interesting, but I think he would maybe see out this transfer window. Whether he's there next season, we'll find out, but I think he might be involved. You never know. If he's done it, if they think he's quite knowledgeable and he's doing a bad job and he's got decent portfolio to add to the mix and they go on with each other, then why no? Why do we need to move him? No, you can maybe keep him there. Might be an asset in time as well.
He possibly could, but you'd like to think it was, and you've seen these talks that's been going on with, when they were all there the other week, the guy Furwell and all the rest of them were all involved in it. You'd like to think, when they're always go to the club just now, that you'd be getting his input off him.
Aye, they'll get input. They'll probably sit down and talk with him, you know, but going forward, like Hawk says, they'll probably maybe have their own placement in time that they might think, for whatever role he's got now, because they moved them up Hawks, didn't they? And they're probably, I don't know if they're demoting them back down or what they're doing. But listen, he was there, he was hands of the pump at the time with him and Clement. There was nobody else there really helping out, were they? The two of them were left there to try and do what they were doing, and now we've got a wee bit more structure in the background, but more stability.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, mate. Listen, we'll see what happens, and obviously they might say, stay, and they'll see what kind of job he does this summer, mate. You know, it'll be interesting, and what targets he's got, and whether they showed him where they went. No. A, one, maybe no spending that money, or B, the players aren't good enough. Yeah, we want better, which we would be happy with, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. So he might have done a lot of work with the brief he had at the time, mate, and things might be changing, you know. So he can only do what he's told to do, Jim, you know.
Aye, but I'd like to think he was getting his input. As you say there, they might have been tapping off with him to see what he's got, and it might be good enough, or it might not be.
Aye. As we keep saying, it's going to be interesting, but just wait for it to happen, you know. You feel as if it's imminent, and then it drags on south side, doesn't it?
Aye, it does. And, I mean, we've had plenty of names flung at it. I had a wee look at the bookies today, and still the firm favourite at the moment was Stevie G. Although there's been other managers linked and had a few days sort of headlines, according to the bookies, he's still the out-and-out favourite.
Aye. Well, a book is just with the volume of money it's been on him, mate. You know, so obviously that's maybe people reinvesting their winnings for Southside Super 6, mate.
Well, maybe so, but if he's still there now, then he's still there, and they still think he's going to be the manager, and nobody else is. I think the nearest one's about 4 or 61. You know, obviously we've got a new contender tonight again, rumoured, but it's been like that. But it's not affected anything. I just think we need to get it right, and if we're going to get a manager in that's going to have been a number 2 somewhere else, or he's going to be a stand-alone, are we going to go for a progressive manager that plays this type of football, or are you going to go for a sort of established manager that's been about and knows what he's doing? That's the thing that's down to Thelwell and the rest of them, the 49ers group, to get together and get it right. It has to be right. It's the only thing that us as supporters want. They need to get it right. We need to hit the ground running straight away.
Aye. Jim, if you were putting your neutral hat on, who would you go for?
I don't know, but I had a wee listen last night. I don't know whether he's caught that Russell Martin on Match of the Day too. He spoke very well when they were kind of asking him where his next move would be, and I don't know. I've just got a wee rumble for him, and I know that Chris Jack said that it will not be anybody who's been involved with the club before yet. They too are the prominent bookies. But I thought the way he came across last night about the next club being a perfect fit for his team, and kind of things that. If you get a chance to have a wee listen back to the way he spoke, and I don't know. I've got a wee rumble for him. Again, I don't know if he's what we need, but being honest, what do we need other than a winner?
Aye, obviously he got Southampton up, mate. Took charge there, got them up. didn't do great in the Premier League. Had them playing maybe too much football outside that.
Aye, well, I could argue it when he comes up. I don't know a lot about him, right? I have sort of.
I know he was a good centre half for us. That's what.
No, I know. But listen, a lot of them say he plays a style of football. It's good. His coaching is good. He's a good manager. But as soon as you mention it and you think, listen, but we need to get this right, and maybe he is the right fit. I don't know. He's no a guy I would think that will get the job, but he's been certainly rumoured to get the job at times. It looks like we're going to go down the foreigner route again. I wouldn't always say Chris Jack will be right. You know, it'll be a kick in the teeth if it is somebody comes back, it's played at the club or been connected, wouldn't it? But Russell Martin, people have said Lampard, we went down the road of that. And then you come back into Scotland, you're going to go Derek McInnes, who makes people all say no. Derek McInnes has actually got the right credentials, but if you're saying he knows the league, he's Scottish, he's been at the club, he knows the expectations. Every player that's ever played from, nobody ever really talks bad about him. They all say he's a good manager and all that and everything else. So, but it wouldn't be my choice. But they all talk favourable, and we just need to get it right. And it's time for the tune.
Yes, get yourself a mute, because we're going to have a tune.
Oh, every other Saturday, my half day off, and it's off to the match I go. Happily we wander down the Copeland Road, me and my wee pal Joe. Oh, we love to see the lassies with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. But I don't have to tell you the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score. Whoa, me, oh, me, oh, me, oh, my. Oh, how we love to hear the cry. We love to see the lassies with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. But I don't have to tell you the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score. Oh, we won the Scottish League about 1,000 times. The League Cup is simple too. We gave some exhibitions in the Scottish Cup. We gave a Wembley Wizard too. And when the Glasgow Rangers took the European Cup, like the one they had before, well, Riley, Ryan and Ibrox, 100,000 strong, we'll give the boys an Ibrox roar. Whoa, me, oh, me, oh, me, oh, my. Oh, how we love to hear the cry. We love to see the lassies with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. But I don't have to tell you the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score. Oh, how we love to hear the cry. We love to see the lassies with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. But I don't have to tell you the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score. Whoa, me, oh, me, oh, me, oh, my. Oh, how we love to hear the cry. We love to see the lassies with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. But I don't have to tell you the the best of all. We love to see the Rangers score.
Well, thanks for that, Fox. Aye, listen, as we keep saying, speculation, rumourville, whatever you like, mate. I try not to get too excited, as I said earlier on, players and managers, because it's no done till it's done, so watch this space. I just feel that something's coming. At any time, mate, obviously the season finishes on Saturday, mate, and then there's a couple of weeks holiday for the players, and then obviously things move on to June. So listen, June will be on tappies before we know it, Jim. Yeah.
Aye, June will be here. Marching season.
Aye, we'll maybe get the boys will get a few weeks off, and then who's leaving, who's all that's got to be sorted out. And I get it. I think so many decisions will be made, and maybe the management team are in the middle of no any say in that at all. Southsider.
Aye, well, I suppose the sporting director can come in and have a look at it. Not just to look at his attendance record, what you're paying out, what's your contribution. And I think you could easily make that decision without a new manager being in place straight away. If you think the player's not going to be any use, he's no fit for his work, he's not contributed.
Just Albert, you'll give
aye, Albert gave him his list, and you can certainly start there. Technically, you should allow the manager to come in and assess the players, but listen, we don't have trust as a support. I mean, if he turns around and goes, well, I'll keep Matondo, he's got good pace, he's this, he's that, and I think he'll be an asset, and he could start him right 4 or 5 games in a trot. Me, you, Jim, and probably everybody listening will think, well, when's he going to get half injured? When's he going out for about 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, and then come back, play a game, then break down again in training. So I don't think he'd be an asset to the club going forward for what he's got left in his contract. And I'm sure Thelwell and Coppin, being there that length of time, could easily make that decision and all.
Is that the most important factor? Unless if you've got then all the information about the injuries, what they are and how they've happened, is that a factor? Or are you not really interested in that, Jim? It's just pure numbers.
Yeah. An interesting one, but I think that guy, Burwell, will be in there ripping up also. So that's where I think the knowledge will be for whoever it is that's coming in and the new owners. I think they'll know who's gone and who's staying. I think that's what's going to. I'd like to think that they're well down the road on that, because I don't think there's any chance that they're going to stand back and be wanting. I know you're saying, Sir Southside, that the league has to be all and end all, but they'll want a return on their money, and they'll be wanting it as soon as possible, mate.
I don't know, mate. I think these people have short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals, mate. Yeah, I don't know if you put 100 million into something and expect it to come flooding back right away. It'll be interesting, mate. They'll know they have to get key appointments right to help the whole thing lift, and then it's to drive the things off apart. It's sort of chicken and the egg, if that makes sense, outside of it.
Aye, well, that's piece of the jigsaw as the manager, isn't it? And then the players, like I say, sporting director, he should be able to easily get out and negotiate contracts and probably have an input into players and that and whatever. So it's his job in the summer. Tom Lawrence and unfortunately Hadji's now out for the end of the season. So players like that straight away that are only going to be at the club go, and anybody else that's sitting there, obviously all the players that's out on loan, see what you can do with them, and then the players that we've got for the squad, obviously on record are some of them that will probably still be there. There's some that don't play every week and haven't been available, so they should be scrubbed straight away for what they're getting. Unless the manager thinks he can get a tune out of them, but I don't see anything that's there hanging about that we need to keep. I think we need fresh players into the squad to drive the ones that he's going to keep. And that's the way I see it going forward, Ox. Just think, just got to be ruthless. You can't have passengers. And we've had a lot of passengers, unfortunately. And even bringing Tom Lawrence on yesterday,
I couldn't understand him being in the squad, Southside.
We've got, although we'll talk about the two, we have got Danilo, who possibly does want to be there, whether he will be or not, but he's been available now for a few weeks, not really had much game time. And Oscar Cortez is now back, and since he mentioned it too, and Finlay Curtis come back, obviously for that knee knock or ankle knock that he had. So there was three of them at the time. I thought could have come on and no bother. And yet he chose to, obviously Danilo did come on, but I thought out the other two, he could easily have picked one of them. Two people that are on the bench that have signed contracts that want to be at the club apparently. And he brings on a guy who's leaving, its contract's up, didn't want to re-sign a deal with when he got offered one. And he brings him on, which baffled me altogether, but it is what it is.
I said yesterday, Southside, I was actually baffled that he was in the squad.
Aye. Well, he's obviously fit and available. And then I listened to what Barry said when he said, well, obviously you need to show me in training. And I'm thinking, okay, did Tom Lawrence really come back for an injury and show you in training more than Finlay Curtis or Cortez and Danilo even? I thought, and he's actually leaving, and the rest of the three players have signed contracts, and we've got one who's leaving out the door, but he brings them on. So, by all accounts, it wouldn't surprise me if I see him either Wednesday night again or on Saturday at Easter Road. Looks like it, he's in the squad.
I didn't understand it, mate. I didn't actually understand it from his point of view, unless he signed for somebody. Yeah, you know what I mean? And he's already signed. We've not picked that up. Rumoured that it was maybe Wrexham he was going to. But I've not seen anything official. But I couldn't understand what we achieved by having him on the squad, never mind getting him on the pitch. Jim?
Aye. Well, he's made a few strange decisions. Again, look back on the contest, I'm only think, I know you're saying there that things are going behind the scenes and the rest of it. I'm only surmising that they're playing a game with him regarding what they're going to need to pay. That's the only thing I can point to the Cortez one.
Aye. And Lawrence, would you have had him on the squad?
No, it was a strange one to be back in it. I thought he was another one that was gone. He wasn't going to play again. Then they come riding back in. Wait, what is he doing playing people who are no longer going to be at the club when it's a chance to have a look at what's actually there? I know he keeps on harping on about I'm not seeing it in training and all the rest of it. Fair dues, but they're possibly going to be here. Possibly. That is it, Self-Preservation Society, that's what he's doing. He's just making sure he gets what he needs for himself, because I don't think there's any chance he's not getting that manager job. No chance. No eyes anyway.
No, doesn't look like it, mate. It was a short-term fix. Nobody's hid for that, but I thought that strange. You know, and when we did brought him on, I'd rather had the boy Curtis coming on, Jim, if I'm honest.
Aye. Somebody that's probably, the wee boy's probably got a long-term future at the club. Let the fans see which is there for the future. Yeah, he brings on Tom Lawrence, can't last for a free kick.
That was a decent effort. It took a wee bit of nick for me, but still a decent effort. By the way, just it's even making the news in Italy about Ancelotti coming to David. Is it David? Am I pronouncing that right?
I think the Union posted that link there. That guy's got about 38 million followers or something. If I'm reading right, have it thingy that there.
Southside's got more followers than that. Southside.
Aye, the rumour is Francesco Mori is coming and all. He's supposed to be coming to join them, according to this thing I've just been sent, and I've suspended the betting apparently and all that. But listen, we'll find out in time, innit? It's like anything. Fabio Romaro's not done it, so I'm not believing it.
Aye,
He's a man, isn't he? But at the end of the day, we'll find out in time. Don't know whether that would excite me or not, to be honest, if he was coming, you know, because I've not really followed him for what he's doing and all that, and what they've done, so I just want to make sure when he gets here, he knows what he's doing. It's a different sort of type of league. You don't get time on the ball to play free in football. We've had it with a few foreign managers think that they can do it, and we don't. You get stuck into teams and sometimes win the battles. So we'll find out in time, won't we, Ox?
What I would say, right, and I don't know the guy, obviously. We know he's old man well, right? Yeah, we don't know him. But what I would say is where he's sitting this now, and if he was coming to your club in your Scottish League, mate, there would be a lot of promises there, Jim. Yeah, and look, it's pure speculation. I'm not saying it's happening. I'm just playing devil's advocate. If that was the kind of guy that was coming in, there would be a lot of promises for him, i.e. what players he's going to get, yeah?
Aye. Sorry, Southside, to pick up, who did you say that was rumoured to be coming there? Who did you say that?
Oxford.
Oxford can go in.
Who was the guy you mentioned, Southside?
Francesco Murray.
Very well pronounced, mate. Very well pronounced. That must be your old school that done that. Jim?
It was an academy.
And who's he, if you don't mind Magnus here? I know I'm one of the older can have me, but who's he?
Me? You asking me?
Aye.
You didn't mention his name.
Oh, come on.
Come on, my man.
He done well enough to read it, mate. Never mind knowing about him.
I know. Don't usually say the long words.
Listen, pure speculation. But you know what it's like, Jim. Eventually, some rumours do come true, but at the moment, I'm putting that into the maybe camp, yeah?
Aye. You say there, you're waiting to see the suit or the staff above the heat.
Aye.
Put Sean Dyche out the running, wasn't it? I'll put Sean Dyche out the running.
I heard McKinney's out the running and all, Barry, because I see a bit earlier on he's in talks with Hearts. See regarding the foreign manager, he's worried about it.
Always, mate. Yeah, because it's a unique league and you worry about it. And, you know, if you're coming for Southern Europe, mate, you've then got the weather and all the factors that, you know, I know they don't get the best of weather in the winter, particularly Northern Italy, etc., but the climate's a bit different in the west of Scotland for the vast majority of the season. If they turned up today, they might think, oh, this is not a bad number. This is May. It's not quite summer yet. This is great. Well, it'll not be so good when you get to October, Jim.
I'm not worried about it's not the weather that's worrying me. I'm grasping what it's all about. That's what my worry is.
Well, there's that as well, Jim. What you're playing against.
Aye, 100%.
Aye, what you're playing against. You know, but it gives us something to talk about. It's a live story. It's as you said, the betting's been suspended. Obviously, they'll form a new book. Listen, it only takes a couple of quid for an outsider to form a new book. So I obviously never read too much into that south side.
No, listen, not interested in tappy football. Want points on the board, you know, on a weekly basis. But aye, it's obviously the new candidate now. See how long this runs for. And then if it happens, we'll find out. But he seems to be a new one the night to be rumoured. So time will tell, eh?
Aye, it depends how you spin it, mate. I mean, he's coached at Everton, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, but he's coached under his dad. You know, so.
Well, we said Big Dunk's been there with him at Everton.
Aye.
They want to find out what his dad's doing, never mind anything else.
His dad's get the role that we'd have thought Southside might have went trying to sort out Brazil. He likes a Brazilian just outside, you know.
Aye, we're looking at a new. Well, supposed to be rumoured going for the new Pogba, the Brazilian, the new Paul Pogba. Apparently plays for Basel, holding midfielder.
We're going to be linked with millions, especially come a week and Sunday, Monday, a week today, and especially a fortnight today as the season really ends, and then there's nothing to write about. It's going to be insane the amount of players and people we're going to be linked with till it's done, Jim.
Aye, see regarding when you talk with these foreigners, do you think there's a place there for Ferguson amongst it? Or do you see possible signs of like Wayne kind of can't be buried in the regime? Do you think there's a place there for him?
Here's how I would see it, Jim. The guy who gets the job will want to pick his own teammate. Simple as that. Southside.
Sorry, mate, I'm getting whacked here with a couple of messages. Sorry. The rumourville's kicked in. Sorry, what did you say?
Exactly, mate. What I'm saying is, Jim asked, is there a position for Ferguson? And I said, the guy comes in and bring his own team in, and it'll be down to him to pick his own team in.
Aye. Well, if it's according to the rumours, he's got ready to bring his own assistant in with him. But listen, he's been assistant and all that, you know, he's not done anything, has he, really? He might have a style and an idea of playing football and whatever, and coaching and stuff, but that's all right if you can build a team and that the elite. Well, if we go steamroll on teams in our football, that's wonderful and it's working great. But sometimes you've got to go up on the Wednesday nights in the pouring the rain and you've got to grind out results on a windy day, and you've got to have the right team and the right style to do that. The parts in Scotland aren't always great to sit and play your tippy-tappy football and think like that. You've seen the state of some of the surfaces that we go to. I just want somebody just has to come in, and whatever we get, he needs to make sure that we get winning straight away. There can't be any losing any ground, any proportionate amount of points in a season to them and then having to chase it. We need to be winning just about every week on a weekly basis, because that's what the expectations are at the club, and that's what the next manager will be told, or he'll have to learn quickly. This is what the demands are. We can't be going and getting a couple of draws and thinking that it's good. So we'll see who we get, but it's just a heavy rumour now, isn't it? It's just hitting everywhere.
Just a rumour, mate. Just a rumour, you know. But listen, we'll see where it goes. Sometimes rumours come true, you know, but pure speculation, and particularly on the internet, mate, things fly and grow arms and legs, Jim, yeah?
Aye. What it takes is, you say about the bookies. Somebody goes and sticks a fiver on, man, and the odds will come tumbling down. The only thing we want to come tumbling down is their dominance in Scottish football.
Aye. And then that'll be the next part. I mean, the manager's a big piece in the jigsaw. But he's only one piece. It's all the recruitment becomes massive then once you've got that position filled. Southside, you know. But what we'll say is, look, if you want to join us, give your thoughts in this speculation. We'll call it speculation, yeah. Who's been linked with the job, just for discussion's sake. Join us here in Teams at Rangers Radio. Contact Rangers Radio and you'll be brought into the call on Teams. Which get Teams on their phone or other devices while we're trying to get the phone lines sorted out with the people who supply Teams. The boys are working away and talking when we're no online to try and resolve it so we can get the phone up and running again. The Skype's no more. Right, okay. Bit of speculation, big story. Right, let's play devil's advocate. Right, and it's a yes or a no answer. Right, say this guy was the man for you. Your initial thoughts, yes or no, Jim?
Can I sit the fence because I don't know anything about
No,
him?
no. Listen.
Well,
It's a yes or a
right.
no answer.
That's a lot, his boy.
Right.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, Southside, I tell you, I don't want Ancelotti. I want one Ancelotti, big man.
Right, yes or no? Yes or
I'll
no?
say aye. I'll say aye.
Right, you're saying aye. Southside?
I'm saying no.
It's 2 no's. And you want my rationale now, Jim?
Yes, go for it. I probably would have said no there and all, but
Well, see, that's why you go first, right? I'll give you my rationale. Right. He's not managed. Obviously, he's coached at big clubs. We are coaching staff that's been successful, and he's done well at certain times. Obviously, his father's a legend in the game. He's not an icon. He doesn't know Scottish football, and he's not managed. I think there's similarities. Nobody name similarities in Michael Beale. What's he done in the game to get the Glasgow Rangers job? Just my initial thought on it. Yeah.
you're 100% right. What has he done?
Aye, to get your job with experience. Yeah, he's coached at big clubs. Yeah, he knows the game. Obviously knows the game, working with his father. I get all that. But would he be ready to the demands of your club? That's my rationale, yeah.
He's been at clubs, obviously, and you have an idea, but he walks into your training ground, he's been working with Vinicius Junior and Bellingham. He walks in, goes, here's Ross McCausland and Connor Barron, and that you can work with them, make them into superstars. Listen, he's got a famous dad, obviously, right? And he's maybe got good coaching credentials, but you're coming to us and listen, Michael Beale apparently was no bad at coaching and stuff like that and had decent credentials, but you've seen how that happened when you gave him the reins to do the job. You know, I'm not saying he's no good as a coach, and listen, he might be the guy that maybe we need, and it might work if this is true and it happens. Then obviously have to support it. But I just think it's another new link tonight, and we'll see where it takes us. But
there might be somebody else tomorrow night. Is that what you're saying?
That could be, you know how it is. But listen, if it is, and that's what they're looking at, and they see him as an ideal candidate, and that, then you'll have to support it if that's who we bring in. There's no point in complaining about it. But it's down to them to get the right person that they think will do the job. But for me, we need to win in Scotland, and you can be a hard league. You need to have a decent style of football if you're allowed to play it, or if we're going to be ball dominant, we're going to be high pressing and stuff like that, and we're going to have fast, quick players, and we're going to be about the box and have plenty of ideas in our head and be good for set pieces. And if that's the manager that brings that in, and that's the way we win our games in Scotland, so be it. That's the way it should be. But you know yourself, sometimes the styles in the league and beating low blocks at times. So we need to get after a winning start. We need to keep winning, and that's just for me. And I would rather it was somebody that an idea of probably British football than a total foreigner who's not really had the reins, although he's promising and he's worked under his dad and he's worked with a lot of good players at Real Madrid, obviously. But long term, I don't know. I'm unsure about him, but it'll be what it'll be, Ox.
Aye, listen, let's get one thing straight here, Jim. We're not saying it's happening. We're only discussing a story. It's pure speculation as we sit tonight, yeah? So please don't read too much into it. Jim?
I'm not believing anything again, as we said earlier on, until it's 100% done. As you say, they're flinging names about left, right, centre because they know nothing.
Aye, speculation, mate. Speculation. Pure speculation. No speculation.
It's better than the last few we had before, isn't it? We're looking for a manager. At least we're getting linked with names.
Aye, I get it. But is he a name, mate? Is he a name? Or is it his dad's name?
Well, aye. Listen, I don't know his coaching credentials, but aye, he's there with his dad and he's learning on the ropes, isn't he? At some point, you'll get on your own, but I don't. I think it's too big a gamble to be putting him in at Ibrox, to be perfectly honest. That would be my own opinion. I just think it'd be too big a gamble.
There seems to be the Everton link there again, isn't there? Maybe the guy Furwell. Was he involved there?
Speculations coming from Jim.
Maybe that's where it's coming from. You'd like to think that these guys are doing their work thoroughly, and that's maybe where this is came from. Maybe that guy Furwell's looking at, wait a minute here, we're having a look at this boy here. I've worked under him, blah, 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 and worked through him. Maybe seen good results. His dad, I take it he must have been on his dad's coaching staff at Everton when he was there.
Right.
You know, who knows? Because they seem to be bringing this guy Furwell up a lot. You'd like to think he's further down the road, as we said there about players' contracts and all the rest of it. I think this guy will be on the money. So maybe that where it's came from.
Well, I'm seeing it as pure speculation at the moment. I don't mind discussing it because it's a decent story, because his name, as I said, Southside, I don't know if it's his name or his father's name, it's given arms and legs. If you take that name away and he'd only done the positions, would we even be discussing it, mate?
No, not at all. No, he wouldn't. It's just, listen, whoever's spinning the stories and all that are doing well. No, I mean, it's probably keeping us interested anyway, I'll give them that. I just think we need somebody with a bit of experience, and okay, he's got experience, but listen, you've heard many of people. Bill was getting touted about he can do this and do that. He's good at coaching, he brings out manuals, and everybody's all happy, and everybody adores him, and all the players that he's been there and all the contacts he keeps with him. He got the job. He couldn't do it. He could do it under Stevie G. Tactically wise, he was good at that, and probably working with some of the players and stuff, but no as a manager. So I just think something like that is just too big a risk, Ox. It works, it could work, and it could be wonderful, but I just think at the moment my gut feeling is we'd just stop breaking that and hitting the news in the last maybe hour or so. I just think it wouldn't fit us.
Aye. As I said, I'll go back to my original point. I don't think he's got the experience to get a job. I thought that with Michael Beale, who'd managed at QPR for 28 games, who wasn't a world icon in football. He hadn't done enough. And by the way, I think he paid a heavy price for it. I think if he wanted to, Michael Beale would learn his trade and maybe broke out in management and maybe done it differently. He could have ended up being different at the right time at a different time, but he hadn't done enough. Just the way I see it, Jim.
You're right. It's pretty interesting times ahead for us Rangers fans, but again, who knows?
Exactly.
We just want to get back winning, didn't we? We want to get that feeling back again, man. Again, see on the Steven Gerrard, man. The only thing that's sing with me with Stevie Gerrard and no bring him back, he won one trophy. Won one trophy out of the 9 possible. There was times when he played absolute dross football. I'm not saying that he wasn't brilliant the year we won the 55, but there was times when the football under him was pathetic. I.e., near the end of his tenure. That Scottish Cup tie at Tynecastle, remember that one? Absolutely horrendous. Then near the end of it.
That was 18. That was the year before 55, mate. And then he left 6 months after that, so that was 18 months before he left. And Morelos he came back late. Look, I get it, mate, we were atrocious. Greg Stewart played up front for us, didn't he? You know, yeah, he did. You know, but listen, I get it. It wasn't perfect under Stevie G. But what I will say is where we were and where he took us, there was definitely improvement in the team and the squad. You know, yeah, in my opinion, we blew a treble. And we were 6 points clear at the top of the league when he left us, Southside, you know. So, you know, look, we'll see what happens with that one, yeah. And really, he's no, I mean, he went to Villa for a year. He's went to Villa for a year, and and no really done a lot. Had a fun in the sun, if you like.
Aye, he was learning on the job when he came in. He couldn't. He knew what he knew what he'd be good at, and he also knew what he wasn't going to be good at. And he brought in Colshaw and Milson in the backroom team with him for fitness and set piece coach and stuff. And they brought in Michael Beale to give him the tactics, and him being the figurehead, the guy that everybody respected, would listen when he spoke. A world-class player in his day, a winner, brought professionalism into the club, and probably knew when he could probably go off in one now and again with players, and were probably wary, had a bit of the fear factor. And aye, in games, Jim, you're right, it didn't work out in the cup and the league at Tynecastle. I think that was one of the ones Alfie come back very late for international duty and didn't even take part. Because but aye, sometimes we looked as if people worked us out and stuff in the league, but then you buy better players to go into the positions, you keep your style, and you just improve the squad with better players that are faster, better, and improve your team in certain areas. Once you get the machine up and running, you're only buying 2 or 3 players a season, probably selling 1 or 2, or maybe bringing in 4, but end of the day, the machine's running. And they started to get the machine up and running, and then we got the league, and then probably thought, when you look at it in hindsight, we were that many points in front. We won it on the 7th of March, we were that many points in front. You might have thought, you know what, they could probably go again next year. But you should strengthen when you're winning, and maybe the funds at that time maybe weren't available because of the COVID and all that, and directors were all digging deep to keep the club going. And then he left because Aston Villa came in, and whatever happened, he leaves. But he didn't do too well down there, and he's not done too well since he left. But he'll be fondly remembered for what he done when he was here, and he had to build the squad, and you could see it happening. But we can't go 2 year building a squad to win success. We need to win it next year, Jim. Next season, we need to be winning trophies in Scotland. As far as I'm concerned, we've done the waiting. It just so happens that this new mob coming in have to get it going early. Don't want to listen 18 months down the line, we've made progress, guys, and we've done this and that. But what have we won? Nothing again. Manager will be told to go probably, or will think he should go. But with them being the majority shareholders, they might just think, no, but we're keeping them because we see the long-term thing in them, and then probably will turn it around. That's what you're up against. But whoever comes in, we need to just get up and running straight away. It has to happen. There will be bumps in the road, but we basically need to be winning on a weekly basis as much as possible, with very little bumps in the road.
Aye, we need to be smashed. We need to be smashed out here. We just have to beat the teams we should beat, Jim. Yeah.
Aye, it's been proved again this season. Against the Dross is what's caused us big time. I heard you saying there that under Gerrard they should have won a treble. We should have won a treble under Philip Clement last season. So we should have, if we're being honest.
Aye. They blew that and all, particularly the league. Robbed a bit in the Scottish Cup final, but that's another story. Yeah, but we blew the league, mate. We blew the league. If we're honest, outside, we did.
Well, 100%. Aye. Totally blew it. We blew it, probably really blew it at the time in Motherwell game at Ibrox.
Aye.
Should have won that. Because we had a feeling that Hearts were probably going to win at Tynecastle, which they did. And that was the one that we didn't get out of the line. We had plenty of chances and just didn't score enough goals and let them get away with a result that they shouldn't have, and possibly had a man sent off that day into the bargain. But that was the start of it, and then just followed on with Ross County and Dundee. And maybe players not being able to handle pressure and stuff. Struggling with that and just a shambles. But if Seema had been fit, probably got us out of the line. If he'd managed to maybe get somebody in, we would have scored goals at the time without paying a fortune, might have helped us, but we had to go with the squad we had, and unfortunately for us, he didn't get the job done.
Aye. And the boy Silver looked at his depths as well, if I'm honest, in the running. Fabio Silver, no. Too physical for him.
Tapped the ball into Kelly's arms, remember? 4 yards. Tapped the ball into his arms at Ibrox in that game against Motherwell. He's lying on the ground now, Kelly.
That Motherwell game was a catalyst for the shambles that ended up at the back end of last season, wasn't it? When you think it. Was it Butland getting beat at his post with a shot man who's never been beaten in his life?
That was the start of Butland's run, if I'm honest. With a bit then, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've went backwards, we've went forwards tonight. You know, it's as we keep saying, it's going to be interesting. But we'll not get the solutions, but we started getting back the way because of Stevie G, right? Same question, yes or no? Southside, yes or no?
I'm going no.
No?
I'm going no.
Nothing for me. No for me, no.
No, right.
I want a fresh impetus put in across the whole outlook.
So you're saying the 49ers come in, new broom, everything new. I get that, mate. That's a point of view. Yeah.
I'm sicky what Southside says about this 16, 18 months down the line going, oh, we need to change this. This can't happen. This cannot happen again. Because that mob, until recently, in my view, were over the hill and far, far away financially. Playing wise, I don't think we're far off them. We just need to get, as you guys are saying, we need to start beating the dross, because beating Celtic isn't the issue now. It's a crap. Against the crap is the issue.
Aye. I mean, obviously, we've took more points off of Celtic. We've took more points off Aberdeen than they have us this season. You know, but we have to be consistently winning. Because pressure does things to teams as well. Southside, they've constantly let them play without any pressure. We put them under pressure for a couple of weeks last year, and you've seen the antics when they lost one game at Tynecastle. If you like, we said we never capitalised, yeah.
Aye, they've always played with very little pressure on them. When the day you hear the uproar, but when everything's going nice and sweet, you hear nothing. And that's a sure problem. Aye, Jim, it's all right saying technically you shouldn't rip it up, but if we get the next manager comes in and the results are really bad, you know, over an 18-month period, then it'll no matter what the support us will be like, well, obviously he was the wrong choice. We need to get somebody else. You need to get it right in the next appointment, or are you going to wait? Well, we'll give him a chance, and you go another year and a half down the line, you're 3 years down the line, and you're not anywhere real further forward. You know, we've got to get it right. I know we'll probably be a bit inconsistent at times next year, sixth season. We will be, because we're a team trying to knit together, depending on how many players we bring in. But I think we need at least 7, 8 starters to start in that team. The rest of them can all fight for their places. But we need to have at least 7 or 8 starters that come into that team and start. That's what we need into that squad. Well, we need more than that going forward. We'll need probably 3 transfer windows. But in this building process that we're doing, as long as they can get the right players out the door in time and get money in for the ones like Cifuentes and Dells and Davises, maybe Matondo, and 1 or 2 others if we release them for contracts, or Bajrami into that bracket. If somebody comes in and we don't want to keep them, stuff like that, then we need to get money in and then also splash out and get the players in. But I know we've got to mould into a team, but we don't have a lot of time. We've got a qualifier in about 70 odd days. But to be honest, I'm not that fussed about that. If we do well in it and we get there, fine, we get into the next trip, fine, great. If we don't, then fine. I want to be ready for when the league kicks off. As soon as that league season kicks off, we need to be ready. That's just my opinion.
Jim?
Aye, we need to hit the ground running, big time. But as I said there about a new brush, sweep the place clean, aye. because the club's rotten from top to bottom. I mean, we've all spoke to people who are working within there and all the rest of it. The whole setup and mechanism in that club is an absolute shambles, and it needs to be sorted from top to bottom. We're the ones that suffer. You, Ox, Southside, and all the other boys and all that on here, we're the ones that suffer every week. This needs to stop, but we need to hit the ground running, and we can't keep on changing managers. We said that the last 2 or 3. Oh, we can't afford to keep changing. Can't afford to keep changing. That's just where we are as a club. I don't think we're far off of them. Maybe that's just my dark views. I don't think we're far away from them as we think they're football wise.
Well, the stats in the league bear out in that, mate, because we've took 7 points off them, they've took 4 off us this season. Yeah?
Right.
Now, let's be honest. When they beat us at Parkhead at the start of the season, mate, who would have thought we would have took more points off of them in the league than they did us, if you were honest, after that performance, Southside?
Aye. We've dropped points, we've won the points. If we had won at the start of the season, that game came too early. Talk about the Celtic game in the first game at the start. Aye, it came too early for us. We weren't ready for that. We hoped we would have went up there and done well, but it was we weren't ready for that game, Jim, at that time. As you've seen, we've been ready for the rest, although Old Bear will tell you they're meaningless games, they don't matter. But listen, we've got the first one this year coming up. It'll be at Ibrox for the first game. So in Old Bear's eyes, that'll be meaningless. That'll be a game that we'll need to win, put the marker down, and get the 3 points. But we just need to go off to a winning start, Jim. We can't afford to be slow off the blocks. Europe, I think, will come a bit quick for us in the time we've got to assemble a team. So as long as we don't get knocked out, I think, in the first qualifier, I think if you get by that, you get some group stage of football if we don't make Champions League. But for me, we need to get back to winning in Scotland. We need to get back to the bread and butter. It's always been for me. You need to try and win the league. Europe's been good. We've had some good trips and all that, and we've had some good performances. And that squad that we sort of gave a bit of a hard time to, done well this year in Europe. You know, we batted above our average probably. So, and like I say, if this was the manager for Real Madrid and he's no get much coaching experience, as a bit like Souness, that he came in at the time and he'd no coaching experience, although he'd been the football player, and the players probably wanted to come up and sign for him because it was Graham Souness, and it worked for us. And then Gerrard works to a point because he comes in, players want to come up and play for him. He's an icon in football. Same sort of things, they were both winners. But it doesn't mean to say that will always work for you. You know, sometimes you've got to go out and get a bit of ability and coaching behind you, experience, and get somebody that's maybe but was moved on. You know, it progressed from when Souness came in and the players we bought and what we needed then to when Gerrard came in, and you're looking at the football that everybody's playing now and the style that they all play. You don't really play with an old traditional centre forward anymore and things like that. And wingers, sometimes teams don't play them, they play wing backs that defend and go up and down the line with an out and out winger. So depends on the style and the system you're going to play will dictate what type of player we're going to buy.
Judas signed one of the most athletic fullbacks I've ever seen, mate, if I'm honest.
Like Gary Stevens, aye.
If I'm honest, mate, yeah. You know,
We probably knew him as a good football player first and foremost, defender.
Aye, he was a defender, aye. Athletic, mate, really athletic, yeah. You know.
Aye.
Good player, good at his position, you know. They go forward a lot, and you know, but you think of his numbers compared to Tabs, they'll be night and day, mate. Night and day.
Miles off.
Aye. You know. Yeah, aye. Well, Jim, there's going to be a lot of speculation. The Ancelotti one, I'm not saying it's not happening because you never know, mate. I'm filing that at the moment. It'll be interesting who will be tomorrow. I think it'll be
I know.
Dino Zoff's boy, yeah. Italy, yeah. And then they might get Rumenigger's boy the following day, yeah.
They'll get him for Governor.
You know, but it's going to be interesting. But your point, Jim, about you know, would be a role for Ferguson there. If it is foreign, you think there's got to be some link? There's got to be somebody there who knows the club, or do you let them just have their own carte blanche to do it their way?
Going to be interesting. Aye. Who knows?
Southside, do you see them gambling? Is it be a manager, you know, and sort of a project manager? Because, you know, I just don't see it. I think they'll think it's going to be somebody who's got a fix for the club. That's how you're attracted to Gerrard. There's pros and cons in that as well, mate, if you're honest, mate.
Listen, if you're sitting there and we're all chipping in money and it's coming to over £100 million that it's going to take to take control of Rangers, and then you need to know you've got to have funds that you've got to put in. You're no one to fail. They might just be looking at it as his credentials, what they see for a long-term future. This is a sort of plan, and this is whoever they give the job to will be that person. That they see the vision of what he brings, if that's in line with what maybe the vision of the club is, or Thelwell and the rest of them, how they see us as how we're going to progress and how we're going to play. There's no point in bringing the manager in and saying, right, this is the style we're going to play, we'll buy these players, and then it doesn't work out, we do have to sack him. If it isn't successful, and we're back to them we've done all the way in the last 5-6 years. We've had to just get different manager plays this style, this manager plays that style, these players, then he goes, I can't work with them because they don't work the way I work. If we get a manager in the morning, we play a 3-4-3, for instance, half of that team, probably that squad we've got now, couldn't they play a 3-4-3? No, it probably wouldn't suit a lot of them. So it'll be down to the manager and what.
Do you get frustrated? Do you get frustrated with that, mate?
Well, I always say players should be able to adapt to some type of a level, but it annoys me that we should have a philosophy as a club and a style, and what we do is that's a vision, that's how we play, and then once you need to replace the players, or when a player gets sold because somebody wants to come and buy them in time, or if players start running down their contract, there's no back to sign, then you get rid of him and you bring a player in, you make the squad better. No many managers change for their philosophy and their styles up. Everybody says, change, you've got to have a plan B, a plan B. You don't always need to have a plan B. Maybe adapt a wee bit, but...
Aye, on you go, mate.
Sorry, Southside, on you go, mate, sorry.
No, batter in, Jim.
You just need to look at gravy veins across the road when they brought him in. Him riding in out of nowhere, and he stuck with his philosophy with Celtic. The first season he was there, they were absolute dross. They were going to drive him out the door if I'm no right, win about the first 4 months, because they were pathetic. And they stuck with it, saying, no, this is how we are playing, blah, blah, blah. And again, the second season, the blue team's away. Now he's out away down the road, and he stuck to his guns. He doesn't care who says what he wants against him, and say, no, this is how we are playing, and that's it, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if you heard him the other night there. Did you hear his interview about his excuse for the result the other night there? You know, about playing in Europe and all the rest of it.
And playing in the cup.
The cup, aye.
Progressed in the cup. Unbelievable. Somebody sent me a stat, and obviously there's 2 games to go in England. You could have a situation between them. Man U and Tottenham have lost a full season of games, mate. It's 37 at the moment. 37. It's mental, mate. And we don't think we're getting value for cash. So, yeah.
Aye. Well, I don't know. Man United, obviously, he's going to implement his own style. He's working with players that he didn't buy or anything like that, isn't he? And he'll want to put his stamp on Man United probably next season. If he doesn't, then I would imagine they'll look to change him. if he's not going to progress unless they give him a bit longer and hope that he turns it round. And as for Ange down there, they keep hearing they've had a lot of injuries, which I think they have. But they're down there, and you look at the league table and you just see the three new teams that come up, and then you see that Manchester United and Tottenham's down there. It's been a horrendous season for both of them, because it's been a long, long time since I've seen they two doing that for down a league table, to be perfectly honest. But they've both got to a Europa League final, and we played two of them. And on the whole, we could have probably got away with a draw at Old Trafford, and we should have beat them at Ibrox, all things considered.
See, yesterday's football down south, I don't know if you watched it. What would your views have been if you were seeing Douglas Park storming on the park and taking on Clermont the same way that big guy who Notts Forest did yesterday? That was unbelievable, by the way, wasn't it?
Mental, mate. Mental. Yeah, mental, mate. Listen, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening, slowly, but we're moving on with our last few words. But aye, look, we keep saying it's going to be interesting. We're banging that drum. Speculation tonight. Just go back quickly to yesterday. 4-0 victory against Aberdeen. We're no delighted. It's bizarre. I think that maybe just sums up the season, Jim, innit?
Aye. And it's been absolute mental ways this season. As I say, they keep on banging on about it. No beating the Dross. This season, it's no being about no beating Celtic. It's about beating the crap round about it.
Aye, it's been frustrating. We've had worse seasons south side. We've had worse seasons, but this has been a bizarre one, isn't it?
Aye, well, it became a good home record. They were absolutely obliterated that later. We couldn't win away at times. Then we managed to sort that, and then we started going on a mad run. A cup shock flung in. It devastated everybody after that. It's never seen coming. It's been mental. But eventually something's going to change, and we're going to look forward to that when it all happens and it's all around stops, isn't it?
Aye, there is. Hope for a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow, mate, because we deserve it. Right, last word for your good self. Your Jim.
Again, great show again. Really enjoying it, been on it. On it probably with the best two guys on the planet. Rangers knowledge, second to none. Don't you guys in the background be saying, nah, get him cut off here. No, but I've really enjoyed it tonight again. Just a wee bit behind me with the calls wise and all the rest of it. I don't think I've been on here yet, but there's been a call.
Oh, there's reasons for that this new, Jim. Don't worry. I know. Don't take it personally, mate. Don't take it personally. And by the way, we've just found out he can read. Southside, he's read everything you asked him to say. And by the way, just for the record, you get half light right with your Super 6 beat so early, eh?
Like a draw, Pathetic, innit? I thoroughly enjoyed being on the night with Jim. You did break your duck, Jim, because you had two callers one night. Bob Jer phoned up with old Davey, I think, or maybe Denver, I can't remember, but definitely. But aye, it's the way it is now with the system, but I'm sure, hopefully, it'll get sorted out in time. Aye, looking forward to Wednesday. Suppose it's the last home game. Might look a bit spooky around Ibrox on Wednesday night, because the guy next to me said he'll see me next season. So there'll be probably a low attendance. So maybe nobody as low as it was in the 80s Ox. But
nice summer night, mate. Chance for people to get along, get some kids tickets, take the kids along. Nice summer night, mate, when it's warm. Doing a January Cup tie. Get along. Get them at their first game. Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah, get the people bums and seats, mate.
But aye, we'll see that when it comes on Wednesday. Hopefully we'll see a few changes in the team starting and a Rangers victory at the end of it. And we'll see how many's left the stadium to see the walk round for the players at the end.
I know. Listen, thanks to your good self, Southside. Always a pleasure, mate. And thanks to Jim 115 for joining us. Is it Dermot Watch, as we're calling him now, Southside,
Aye.
Nah, you want to cut the Dermot
out. I'm only going with the pictures have been sent. Yeah, I'm only going with the pictures have been sent.
Oh, well,
Listen,
I'm saying nothing.
Exactly. I know more about you than you do. Listen,
probably aye.
Thanks to Jim and Southside for joining us. Thanks to Fox and All School Blue for doing the technicals. Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. And you never know, we might have even more news or speculation out of the club. Take it away, All School Blue.